Tune in Saturdays at 1 p.m. for the Your Body is Your Pharmacy radio show. Hear from the doctors that were among the first in the U.S. to merge the ancient wisdom of Ayurveda and natural medicines with the advances of modern medical science. Listen to pioneer doctors Virender Sodhi, Shalender, and Anju Sodhi to keep up with some of the latest medical advances and learn from some of the true leaders of Ayurvedic medicines every Saturday from 1 to 2 p.m. with the Your Body is Your Pharmacy radio show on Desi 1250 a.m. Radio that listens to you.
Hi folks, this is Dr. Virender Sodhi with your favorite show, Your Body is a Natural Pharmacy, where I teach you how to stay healthy. My dream is to create a disease-free society. The model which we are using today is completely failed. The third leading cause of death is the pharmaceutical drugs and hospital errors. The number one cause of death is heart disease. Number second is cancer, and it's catching up. By the year 2030, the cancer is going to be the leading cause of death. And you can see that model is not working. So my role, what I see, is to teach you guys how to stay healthy and on top of your health. And first of all, before I dabble into my today's topic, I want to say everyone happy holidays and Merry Christmas to all of you. And I'm traveling with my lovely wife, Rekha, to beautiful California, visiting my cousin brother Vinod Sodhi and his lovely wife, Dr. Nandini Sodhi, who retired from Department of Health as Area Health Officer. And I'm doing this program from their beautiful home in the mountains of Bell Canyon. And they have a ranch-style beautiful home in 25 acres, almost on the top of a hill with a beautiful view of the valley. And we had a rain yesterday, but lucky for me, it's very nice and sunny with the blue skies out there. I'm having a wonderful time with my family here, and I hope you guys too. And we had a wonderful walk this morning in the elite neighborhood where lots of Hollywood celebrities live. Just a little history about my distant cousin Vinod Sodhi. His great-grandfather was the first civil surgeon of Punjab, Lahore, in British India. And I've heard as a young kid beautiful stories about my great-grandfather and how he was so instrumental in creating a good health model for Indians. And so that has actually very instrumental in my personal life to become a physician. And their younger daughter is also a physician. She did her fellowship in rheumatology from Stanford, and she's working for Kaiser. So you can just take, a little history of my family here. We have a great lineage of doctors, and there are so many Sodhi's doctors. It's very wonderful to see that, and the work is being carried on to the next generation. So just a short story about my family. And today, with the holiday season in full swing and the new year just coming next week, I decided to talk about excessive use of sugar in our daily lives. So you can say, my God, Dr. Sodhi, what are you talking about? We are allowed to have sugar. But yes, you are allowed to have sugar. But, I want to teach you that sugar is not that good. And especially with the seasons and the holidays and Christmas and all those things which we bring along with it, the use of sugar is so excessive. The concern is that this added sugar which we put in our diet is not the best for us. Average American consume around 66 to 130 pounds of sugar per year. So imagine almost your own body weight sugar you're consuming every year. And you can say, so what is doing to us? There is a lot of things what this sugar is doing to us. So first of all, let's look at what sugar is. So sugar is a carbohydrate, and you may all have read about it or listened about it. There are different forms of carbohydrates, and one is called simple carbohydrate, and the other one is called complex carbohydrate. The simple carbohydrates, they go into our bloodstream very quickly and rise our blood sugar very quickly, and the sugar is a simple carbohydrate. And I will go in more details a little later here. But the complex carbohydrates are your starches, like your bread, your rice, your beans, your noodles, your pasta. Those all are complex carbohydrates. But, we have not done good with them either. So as a human being, we think you are very intelligent, and we try to find and refine these things and make them worse. So what we start doing to these grains, we start bleaching them, and we start removing the wonderful fiber out of them that was part of our natural diet. When we remove the fiber, the sugar goes very quickly because these fibers slows down the absorption of the sugar from our system, and it does not allow that sugar to go very quickly. But as a human, as we are, we think we are very intelligent, and I will tell you we are not, because our intelligence is very limited, and what we have done, we have created a lot more issues for our health because of that processing which we do. So these carbohydrates are very, very important for us, by the way. So I'm not saying these carbohydrates are bad for us, including sugars too. But let's look at in the Mother Nature. Where is the sugar in the Mother Nature? If I look around, except for honey, I don't see any real form of sugar in the Mother Nature. The only real form of sugar is honey. And if you are, I grew up in the mountains of the Himalayas, and as a young kid, I know we used to collect honey from the bees. And first you have to go and prepare yourself very drastically in a cover-up so that you don't get stung by these bees, because they don't want to give you honey. So once we collect the honey, because it was used very scarcely because it was not abundantly available. And now we have, again, used the farming methods where we are collecting tons of honey, and most of the honey available in the market is basically sugar. Because if you go to these bee farms, you see they are feeding the sugar. And the sugar is being converted rather than going to 200 flowers. These bees are collecting the sugar, and we are just getting the sugar. So that's why whenever I suggest my patients to take honey, I tell them take a raw honey, organic honey, and from its natural setting. So very important to listen to this one, because otherwise we are doing the same mistake with honey too. Honey is a good sugar, but it's not the real form of sugar the way we are thinking, because if the bees are just collecting the sugar and just converting it into honey, that may not have the same value. So according to the American Health Association, they say that they recommend around 6 teaspoons of sugar per day, which comes out to be 25 grams of added sugar per day. And for women, they say they can have up to 9 teaspoons or 38 grams of sugar per day. And for the kids, less. Although I don't agree to this statement, I think if you are living in a setting where you don't have those fast food restaurants and your grocery stores and the big chains of food stores, where you are going to get your sugar? There will be no source of sugar for you, because the only form of sugar which you can consume is your grains and fruits and vegetables. So I don't agree that we should have sugar in the form of sugar we're eating. And we can see that we are creating a lot of problems with that sugar what we're eating. So let's look at even the most common type of sugar which we're using, your table sugar. And the table sugar comes from the sugar cane. The sugar cane is first squeezed into juice and then is dehydrated into concentrated form. And then what they do, they bleach it. The charcoal of the bones is used to bleach it to make it white, and then chlorine is added up to 3% to make it white looking. So you can see that we have added a lot of our own processes into it, and so that sugar is not really good. Even the brown sugar which we're consuming is not the real brown sugar. Basically, the brown sugar which we used to use back in India, like shakar or gur, they were completely dehydrated sugar cane, has lots of nutrients in it. Whereas when we pass this sugar solution from these charcoal of the bones, they are absorbing those nutrients, and we are left with the very less nutrients in the sugar, and basically this is the sugar left in that one, which is not the best form for us. As you may not know this fact, that Mother Nature is the best design we can ever find. Just take the example of this sugar cane. The sugar cane, first, when you chew the sugar cane, there is a skin outside has a wax coating on it.
If you or someone you know is diagnosed with cancer and is interested in adjunctive holistic approach, please come and meet our doctors at Ayurvedic and Naturopathic Medical Clinic or call us at 425-453-8022. That's 425-453-8022. Are you looking for quality Ayurvedic and naturopathic treatments for your chronic issues? We offer a holistic, wholesome approach to living with chronic diseases. Call us at 425-453-8022 for more information. If you're suffering with diabetes, heart disease, hormonal issues, digestive issues, and other chronic health issues, we offer comprehensive Ayurvedic and naturopathic treatments to reverse your diseases. Call us at 425-453-8022 for more information. Panchkarma detox treatments are a great way to utilize natural healing mechanisms of the body. Our clinic in Bellevue, Washington offers over 36 years experience in Ayurvedic treatment. Call us for more information about our Panchkarma treatments at 425-453-8022. That's 425-453-8022. If you or someone you know is diagnosed with cancer and is interested in adjunctive holistic approach, please come and meet our doctors at Ayurvedic and Naturopathic Medical Clinic or call us at 425-453-8022. That's 425-453-8022.
निक्कर और टी शर्ट पहन के आया साइक्लोन निक्कर और टी शर्ट पहन के आया साइक्लोन लगा के फोन बता दे सबने बच के रहियो बागड़ बिल्ली से चंडीगढ़ से या दिल्ली से तने चारों खाने चित कर देगी तेरे पुरजे फिट कर देगी डट कर देगी तेरे दाव से बढ़ के पेंच पलट कर देगी चित कर देगी चित कर देगी ऐसी धाकड़ है 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 ऐसी धाकड़ है.
Yes, looks like we had some technical issue here. The call dropped off, and that is the wonderful thing which we have with the technology these days and doing program from distance. But we were talking about brown sugar, and the brown sugar is made white sugar mixed with molasses. So it's not even the best kind of sugar which we talking. The best sugar, if you want to eat, will be the shakar or the gur, which is traditionally Indians use because it's a dehydrated sugar cane and has all the minerals in it. And I was also telling, I don't know if that got through or not, but the sugar cane, when we consume it, the outside skin of it has a special wax on it, which slows down the absorption of sugar. And then also it has a chromium, which is really helpful for the insulin sensitivity. And once we have this insulin sensitivity, the sugar can be utilized more properly by the body. So you can see that we cannot make Mother Nature better. That's why my favorite subject is Mother Nature. And if we live according to laws of Mother Nature, we are all healthy. This is the basis of every health model which I teach to my patients every day. So what we are doing with our sugar these days is causing a lot of issues. And one of them is diabetes. In America here, since 1980, the diabetes has increased fourfold since 1980. Right here in America, just think about it. We have all the wonderful drugs we have developed. We have all the gliptons. We have all the insulin. And in spite of that, the diabetes has increased fourfold. So what is wrong with that model? And obesity has increased with the same speed. So I believe this sugar is one of the reasons why we're doing it. So we can talk about sugar, but if you're not going to apply that model, we are going to be in the same problem which we started with. So I would like you to understand that why I'm putting my emphasis on sugar here, because sugar is not good for us. It is certainly not good for weight gain. And the wrong form of weight it puts on your body is on the waist. And so basically, when we consume any sugary drink or sugar, body releases a hormone which is called insulin. And insulin is very important to consume that sugar and convert that into glycogen. And when the glycogen is converted, it stores in our muscles and in our liver. Liver is one of the biggest warehouse of glycogen storage. So if it's not, if it's not stored that way, then we have problem. Then what happens is we are making fat. And what kind of form of fat we make is called triglycerides. Tri means 3, glycerides mean sugar molecules. The sugar molecules combined makes this triglyceride, and those triglycerides are going to wrap around your waist. And so if you look at it, almost 60% population of the America have weight issues, and they have a added weight on their waist. And medically we know that this weight is the worst for diabetes, worst for cancer, worst for hypertension, heart disease, metabolic syndrome, and many other diseases. So this is not the best way of carrying your weight. And interestingly, the studies have shown that when the people has fat on their hips, that these people does not have heart disease or diabetes or other related issues with the fat. So, but when we wrap this fat around the abdomen, we have a big issue. So I think we need to be very careful we don't let that happen to us, because this wrapping of the fat around your waistline is the biggest cause of the problem for us. And when we're consuming the fat directly, not fat, I'm talking about the sugar, we are having a big issue with all these diseases which we talked about. So traditionally, when we were not as intelligent as we think we are today, the Mother Nature has designed the food in a way that we sustain. If we are not efficient utilizing those food chains which we have been utilizing for millions of years, we all not be here today. So a lot of things which we are doing today are not the best one. It's going to harm us in a long-term way, because that will cause our next generations to be genetically defective, like type 2 gene, carried on to the next generation. Obesity genes can be carried on to next generation. Cancer genes, certain cancer genes can be carried on to next generation. So we are creating a wrong kind of messaging on our system, and that message is being carried on to the next generation, and that means our next future generation will be not very healthy. So basically, when you have the insulin resistance, the body is not able to utilize this sugar properly. There is another hormone called leptin, and this is again in the Mother Nature that happens, because when you have a leptin resistance, people were able to survive longer without the food. But now that leptin is not working out for you because we have too much insulin insensitivity. So, what I'm saying is you have an issue with insulin sensitivity. So the insulin is not working to convert your sugar into glycogen, and we go on storing it in a wrong place, and we're causing a problem there. So sugar is the worst thing which you can have. Again, there is an increased risk of high blood pressure with the sugar. And a lot of people say, why is that? I've never heard that, because a lot of, even in the medical community, people don't know that increased level of sugar in your food can increase your blood pressure. And how is that? Whenever you have increased insulin in your system, that is not converting the sugar into glycogen, that becomes very reactive, and people will have high blood pressure. So simple model, if you want to have your blood pressure cut down back to the normal, you needed to cut down the sugar. And if you cut down the sugar, you are going to have a beneficial factor on the hypertension. And when you cut down your high blood pressure, you're also cutting the chances of getting heart attack and strokes and all those other things attached to it. So you can see there's a loop. There's not a single thing. We can cut down your blood pressure by giving a blood pressure pill, but studies after studies have shown when people are on blood pressure pills, they die more sooner than people who are not on blood pressure pills. So we are not helping. According to one study published, when people were given high blood pressure medicine and as compared to the control who did not take blood pressure pill, there was fourfold more death in that group who took the blood pressure pill. So you can see that even giving blood pressure pill is not helping our problem here. So I'm going to continue the discussion after the short break here, and I will talk to you that what this sugar does to your immune system, how the cancer is linked to it, how it's linked to the diabetes and hyperactivity and all other issues related to the sugar.
Panchkarma detox treatments are a great way to utilize natural healing mechanisms of the body. Our clinic in Bellevue, Washington offers over 36 years experience in Ayurvedic treatment. Call us for more information about our Panchkarma treatments at 425-453-8022. That's 425-453-8022. If you're suffering with diabetes, heart disease, hormonal issues, digestive issues, and other chronic health issues, we offer comprehensive Ayurvedic and naturopathic treatments to reverse your diseases. Call us at 425-453-8022 for more information. If you or someone you know is diagnosed with cancer and is interested in adjunctive holistic approach, please come and meet our doctors at Ayurvedic and Naturopathic Medical Clinic or call us at 425-453-8022. That's 425-453-8022. Are you looking for quality Ayurvedic and naturopathic treatments for your chronic issues? We offer a holistic, wholesome approach to living with chronic diseases. Call us at 425-453-8022 for more information.
So, coming back to the sugar and its effects on the health, sugar is one of the worst things for your immune system. Body is itself is a full pharmacy. Whenever we are come with a situation where body is attacked by the viruses, bacteria, fungus, or under stress, our immune system kicks in and takes care of it. It's automatic. The doctors don't heal your body heals itself. But when you taking extra amount of sugar, there are studies done on this one, your white cell count, so your white cells become very, very sluggish. And they are not able to help your immune system to fight off these viruses, bacteria, and fungus. So you can see that the sugar is not the best thing for that one too. In animal model studies, in the petri dish model studies, almost all bacteria and viruses and fungus can be grown on sugar. And the more you eat, the more worse you get. There are so many patients I see with the MRSA infection, methicillin-resistant Staph aureus infection, and those are kind of nasty infections. And whenever I take a history of these people, what I see that sugar is a big component in those people. And when I ask them to stop taking sugar and put them on some immune-boosting herbs, they never get this the MRSA again. And this MRSA is a very nasty bug, and it kills more people. And even the drug treatment which is offered is not effective. So you can control it by just changing the diet you have. Sugar and cancer link has been established. Almost all types of cancers love sugar. They can grow like a wildfire when they are given sugar. And there are treatments has been suggested where you cut down the sugar or carbohydrate in the diet, which is called ketogenic diet, and the response of cancer changes drastically. So if you want to make your cancer go away, if you are suffering with cancer or you have a family history of cancer and you don't want to go there where your family member has gone, cut down the sugar, because every cancer cell feeds on cancer, or feeds on the sugar. Even the test which we do, like a PET scan, we inject sugar injections, and the cancer cells light up with that. And when they light up, when the X-ray is taken, then we can say, oh my God, the cancer has gone to this and this area. So you can see there is this. We do this test But when it comes to the nutrition part of it, we never tell our patient that sugar is awfully bad for you. No doctor, I don't know many oncologists who know that they should stop their patients from the sugar, and they never advise that, because sugar is such a poison for that. And I will highly advise that anybody who has a cancer history or has suffered with a cancer in the past, or there is a family history of cancer in the family, should stay away from the sugar. Sugar and diabetes, we talked about that already, because basically in type 2 diabetes, people does not have less of insulin. They have enough insulin. But the problem is that insulin is not sensitive enough to push that into storage form of it and make a glycogen. And when you have extra amount of sugar circulating in your system, the insulin is not sensitive enough to convert that into glycogen, and you have a problem. Also, when people have extra amount of sugar in the blood vessels, that becomes so nasty for the blood vessels. It's like a ground glass for the blood vessels. So like if you take a ground glass and put in the blood vessel, they will scar up the blood vessels and make them scarred up and fibrosed. Similarly, sugar does the same thing, because what it does, it destroys the capillaries. Capillaries are the finest blood vessels, which is a connection between the venous system and the arterial system. As you know, the artery supplies, the venous collect, and between them there is a connection which is through the capillaries. So all this sugar goes and collect in the capillaries and destroys the delicate balance there, and that's why the diabetics get cataracts. It's the number one cause of eye blindness. This is the heart disease increases fourfold in diabetics. This is the number one cause of amputation. This is the number one cause of kidney failure, because all those destruction of the blood vessels is done by the sugar and made it worst for these patients.
If you're suffering with diabetes, heart disease, hormonal issues, digestive issues, and other chronic health issues, we offer comprehensive Ayurvedic and naturopathic treatments to reverse your diseases. Call us at 425-453-8022 for more information. Panchkarma detox treatments are a great way to utilize natural healing mechanisms of the body. Our clinic in Bellevue, Washington offers over 36 years experience in Ayurvedic treatment. Call us for more information about our Panchkarma treatments at 425-453-8022. That's 425-453-8022. If you or someone you know is diagnosed with cancer and is interested in adjunctive holistic approach, please come and meet our doctors at Ayurvedic and Naturopathic Medical Clinic, or call us at 425-453-8022. That's 425-453-8022. Are you looking for quality Ayurvedic and naturopathic treatments for your chronic issues? We offer a holistic, wholesome approach to living with chronic diseases. Call us at 425-453-8022 for more information.
Hi, so this is Dr. Sodhi again, and so I was talking about sugar and diabetes link, and I was saying that the insulin becomes insensitive with excessive amount of sugar circulating in the system. The body has a specific threshold where it can take that much sugar, and that is around 90. And once the sugar gets more than 90, it starts crystallizing in your capillaries, in your blood vessels, and leading to the lots of complications, including eye blindness and kidney failure and more heart attacks and amputation and whatnot. So, but if you are lowering that threshold by not consuming the sugar as much in your diet, you can reverse those things. And so this is actually very interesting for people to understand that you can reverse it. Diabetes is not difficult disease to treat. There was a study done back in England where they took these diabetic patients who were type 1, type 2 diabetic, and some of them were insulin dependent. Type 1 has to be insulin dependent, and type 2 were also, some of them were insulin dependent. When they put them on a very heavy vegetable diet, which has a low calories, like a broccoli head, full head has 80 calories and has around 10 grams of protein.
If you or someone you know is diagnosed with cancer and is interested in adjunctive holistic approach, please come and meet our doctors at Ayurvedic and Naturopathic Medical Clinic or call us at 425-453-8022. That's 425-453-8022. Panchkarma Detox Treatment.
So we were talking about the diabetes and sugar link. And so there is a very clear-cut link between sugar excessive use and diabetes. Everybody knows about it. But what I'm trying to suggest to you that you cut down the use of it and even help your diabetes. When people were given a more vegetable-rich diet with the low calories, around 500 to 800, the insulin was taken off from the type 2 diabetes. Even in type 1 diabetes, people were able to cut down insulin so much that up to 75 to 80%. So you can see there is amazing results you can get by cutting down the sugar and adapting a lifestyle which is very helpful for the whole body, which is adding lots of fruits and vegetables. Sugar and hyperactivity. I don't know if you have noticed that or not, but I have noticed specifically when my kids were young, we didn't brought any sodas, any candies, any chocolates in our home because that was no in my family. But that does not mean that my kids did not had sodas or candies or those chocolate. Whenever we went out to friend's house, everybody's house had these sodas and candies. And so we can see a entire difference in the kid when he come back home. This nice, very subdued kid who is very obedient, who is very wonderfully working out on his homework and doing all the good things, all of a sudden turns into a monster. He's jumping all around the house and he has so much energy that he doesn't know what to do with it. So hyperactivity is also related to sugar. I think most of the parents can really understand what I say here because this is real. And interestingly, there's lots of studies published which says, sugar has nothing to do with hyperactivity. And I bet you just do a little experiment and you'll see that what I mean, it is real. Sugar is a problem with hyperactivity. And how many kids out there are labeled with hyperactivity, ADHD, and then drugged to treat that symptom? And what we're giving them are amphetamines, another poison. Amphetamines are, high, getting high kind of drugs, and it has lots of side effects of its own. And if I have a kid, I will never put him on those kind of stuff. I will do lots of other things, and including the sugar. Watch how much sugar you're putting in the kid's mouth there. And it can be easily, you need to sit down with a kid and substitute with good things. And we will talk about what you can do to cut down the sugar and what you can take as a good substitution for sugar. Sugar is very wonderful. And I think we have made into a kind of a ritual, in Indian families after the dinner, there is something sweet, which is also when we meet some friends, there is some sweet. We go and offer chocolate. We go and offer candies. Those all are loaded with sugar. But you can use the same thing in a small amount and you can get good results rather than getting the bad results. So what we have done, we have turned the sugar into addiction. And in my personal opinion, this addiction to sugar is worse than a cocaine addiction because it's so freely available. And everybody is consuming so much of almost their body weight in a year. And then we can see why we have all these problems. There is a studies after studies published and which has shown that how bad these things for us. And I just wanted to make sure that we don't go in that direction. I've seen so many parents, being a physician for the last 36 years, and when I would ask them, what kind of food you feed your kids? And most of the parents, they say, cereals. And say, okay, what kind of cereals? So we'll say something honey frosted, that kind of cereal, or loaded with sugar. So I encourage all the parents to read the label, look at the label, and see how much sugar is it per serving. So most of the Americans have a very weak mathematics, and they can't convert them, so they don't realize that in a cup of cereal, there can be so much loaded sugar in it. and that sugar is not going to be beneficial for the kid. So I will encourage every parent, especially when it comes to the kids' nutrition, don't give them any kind of cereal. Most of the cereals are very highly processed. And another bad thing about processing of these cereals are, you might have seen the allergies has gone so many fold. And one of the reasons why it has gone up so many times, a lot of preservatives, a lot of coloring agent in the food. And also, to make these cereals very crispy, we process with formaldehyde. And the formaldehyde is a highly toxic and very hygroscopic. What that means is it can be evaporated. So in the cereal, you don't see formaldehyde much left, but there can be a residue, 0.0001%. That is enough to trigger your immune system in the wrong direction, and you can create a problem. So all these cereals, even health food cereals, I'm not in greatest favor. Give them the real food. You can get steel cut oats. You can get rolled oats. You can make the split wheat. There is a quinoa. There is an amaranth. All those things you can cook at home and make into a wonderful cereal of your own. I like amaranth. One of the reasons why I like amaranth is because it's very rich source of protein. Amaranth has the highest protein in the grains. And if that is not enough, it is a full spectrum protein. What that means is it has all the essential amino acids which we need for our body. So amaranth becomes a very nice substitute for a lot of these cereals. I give recipe of amaranth with the coconut milk, and you mix and you put coconut milk in there while cooking it, and it's yummy. And instead of sugar, what I do is cut figs or apricots, and you will be in heaven. Add some nuts and seeds. Now you have good fat, good protein, good fruit, and no junk in it. So start changing the habit of a kid from the younger age, because as they get older, we get habitual of eating certain things. We develop taste for certain things. When we develop that taste, we go on eating same food, and then we have problems. So as a parent, I will encourage all the parents, start changing your habits and the habits of your kids. You cannot do it for your kids only, because then they're not going to follow that. But if you do it, your parents will do it too. So there are lots of ways you can certainly do it. Buckwheat has a very low glycemic index, and you can use that instead of the frosted flakes and this and that. Buckwheat combines very well with egg. If you're not allergic to egg, you can combine. Buckwheat also combines very well with nuts and seeds, walnuts and pecans and almonds and coconut, you name it, chia, flaxseed. All these things has a wonderful nutritious values and are so healthy for the kid. They will have almost no disease. And that's my purpose here, to teach you so you and your family, your kids, your parents all live healthy. So just, you can see that cutting down these kind of sugar will help you tremendously. And the sugar comes in many different names. So like a lot of times, people say, I don't know what is sugar there. And you're right, because there's a lot of packaged food. You see that they have different names on it. So what forms of names comes, I will tell you right now after this short break here. And you will see that what you need to see on the label, that what kind of sugar is hidden there. And if those are there, you want to avoid those kind of cereals.
Are you looking for quality Ayurvedic and naturopathic treatments for your chronic issues? We offer a holistic, wholesome approach to living with chronic diseases. Call us at 425-453-8022 for more information. If you or someone you know is diagnosed with cancer and is interested in adjunctive holistic approach, please come and meet our doctors at Ayurvedic and Naturopathic Medical Clinic or call us at 425-453-8022. That's 425-453-8022. If you're suffering with diabetes, heart disease, hormonal issues, digestive issues, and other chronic health issues, we offer comprehensive Ayurvedic and naturopathic treatments to reverse your diseases. Call us at 425-453-8022 for more information. Panchkarma detox treatments are a great way to utilize natural healing mechanisms of the body. Our clinic in Bellevue, Washington offers over 36 years experience in Ayurvedic treatment. Call us for more information about our Panchkarma treatments at 425-453-8022. That's 425-453-8022.
So you need to watch for these names on the label. So whenever you're buying a product, look for these names. Some of them are malt syrup. That is another name for the sugar. Fructose, evaporated cane sugar juice, another name. Molasses, fruit juice concentrate, cane crystals, cane sugar, raw sugar, corn sweetener, high fructose corn syrup, sucrose, syrup, crystalline fructose, invert sugar, brown sugar. These are all names for sugar. Agave nectar. A lot of times people come to me and say, Dr. Sodhi, it has agave in it, and agave is good for. Yes, agave is good. It's slightly low glycemic index, but agave is also highly concentrated. So you take the agave juice and then you boil it until you get this very concentrated form of sugar. Similarly, maple syrup is very highly concentrated. It is taken from the maple tree and then evaporated almost 100 to 1, as similar to sugar cane juice, and then made into very concentrated form of sugar. So these are very high concentrated form of sugar which you are feeding to your kid. In the mother nature, this is not happening. If you want to have the real sugar, these are not the form which our body utilize to it. So we have a genetic weakness for that one, because if our body is not designed that way, we're going to have problem with these sugars. So avoid these names. I told you these names, and you want to avoid those names because that is an extra form of sugar which you're adding into your system. Then, a lot of time people say, Dr. Sodhi, how about the artificial sweeteners like saccharine or aspartame or stevia? Guys, these all also they're not sugars, but what they do, they stimulate similar kind of effect when we eat sugar does to your body. Because when you're eating this artificial sugar, artificial sweetener, body thinks this is getting the real sugar. I rather have low amount of real sugar rather than getting these artificial sugar. So the most form of sugar which I encourage my patients to take is raw honey. And why raw honey? A bee goes and collect nectar from more than 200 different plants. So when he is collecting this nectar, you are getting a genetic material, and that genetic material bringing back and storing in the form of honey. So those are very beneficial for us. It's almost like a immune boosting effect on the body. And the raw honey has a lot of different nutrients also in it. There is also studies done on raw honey back in New Zealand and Australia. And they have antibacterial, antiviral properties, and also boost up the immune system. Whenever people have allergies, I encourage my patient to take raw honey and the local honey, because usually the local environment pollutants are the trees or your vegetation pollens are bothering you, and when you take that honey from that local area, you are actually basically improving your immune system to help the whole body to get immune to it. So my favorite part is raw honey, and I encourage people to take not more than 2 teaspoons of raw honey a day. Even to my diabetic patients, I give that raw honey too. I also tell them you can have 2 teaspoons of sugar. I'm a Punjabi, and Punjabis love sugar, and I love sugar too, by the way. But sugar does not love me. My mother was a diabetic, and my grandma was a diabetic. And if I go on following that same pattern, I will be diabetic too. There is no doubt about it in my mind. So I need to stay away from those sugar. So first of all, I have to give away my love affair for the sugar. And then what I did, I switched to the honey. When I switched to the honey, what I was saying that I was consuming around 8 to 10 teaspoons of honey a day, and that's also excessive. So then I start cutting down on the honey. Now I use 2 times a day, unless I'm traveling or I'm on a special occasion. But in general, I use 2 teaspoons, one in the morning and one at 4 o'clock. I only drink most of the time is a green tea. And that I allow myself so that I don't feel deprived of the sugar taste, because that's okay. But if you are using excessively, but that doesn't mean that I have to watch for the candies and cakes and pies and all those things which we have so much added sugar. And also those bleached flours, white rice, they also convert very quickly. So if you have like a cake, look at the typical recipe of a cake. You have 1 cup of white flour, 1 cup of a oil or shortening or butter, and 1 cup of sugar. And this is the basis of almost all cakes. So you have a white flour, white sugar, and added fat on it. It is not the best thing for you. Can understand that this has a lot of white flour, a lot of sugar. So it can be the worst combination for you. I make cakes for my family too whenever there are birthdays, those wonderful things to do. Instead of using white flour, I use wheat bran or I use oat bran, and then I put oat flour or whole wheat flour. And usually I use small amount of it. If the recipe is asking for 1 cup, I use a half cup of it. And I add wheat bran or oat bran, which is a lot of fiber. And I also add like a coconut flour, also put chia seed or flax seed, and lots of nuts and seeds. And now all of a sudden the same cake will become the healthy cake. Of course, if you eat the whole cake, you're going to have problem with that too. So just to get 1 small slice for ceremony, not for making your tummy to the fullest with that cake. Now, all of a sudden, you have enjoyed the cake, and also you have a healthy cake, and you're not destroying your health. So you can see that, these things, simple things can make a difference in you, and you can be cutting down your sugar consumption. I was sugar lover, and I'm still a sugar lover, but I have cut down my sugar. And when you see that, when you cut down the sugar from your diet, the same amount of sugar, if you put accidentally in your tea or in your food, that will be so much sweet that you say, oh my God, I was consuming that much sugar. So if you're using, sugar, say 5 to 6 teaspoons a day, cut down to 3 or 4 teaspoons. If you're using more than that, your soda has around 8 to 10 teaspoons of sugar. So I don't advise any sugary drink. Those are the worst thing. And for the same purpose, I don't even advise the juices, because what we have done, again, same thing which we have done with the Mother Nature things, like we squeeze the juice and we throw all the good vitamins and all the good fiber out. And this vitamins and fiber is the one which makes your sugar to slow down the absorption in your system, and you're consuming it very slowly rather than going very quickly in the system and causing insulin reaction. But when you take the whole fruit, then you are not doing those reactivity in your system. So instead of making a juice, you can make a smoothie if you like the liquid thing. You put the whole fruit in a blender and add a glass of water. For example, if you want to make an oat smoothie, so peel off the orange, throw it in the blender after cutting it, and add a glass of water and blend it. Now this juice will be slightly thickened, but you have everything which the Mother Nature intended to have in that fruit. And you'll be surprised how tasty it is for you. And so, this simple things which you can do to help change it. So when it comes to carbohydrates, follow simple laws. Limit the processed food. If you are going somewhere, somebody offers you a cake on a birthday. Instead of taking a big piece, take a small, very small piece of it. That should suffice that requirement there. And use more complex carbohydrates. So use whole grain, which should not be bleached flour, not white rice, because these are the bleached flour or processed grains will make your sugar go very, very up very quickly. And when you're using, use grains which has a low glycemic index, like barley, by the way, is wonderful low glycemic index, and it can be substitute for anything where you use wheat. You can have the barley flour. You can make tortilla type stuff or roti or the chapatis with it. You can also boil it and use it like a rice. Buckwheat also has a very low glycemic index, which is also another good substitute, and it's yummy and it's tasty. Amaranth, another one, which has a almost very high concentration of protein and all the essential amino acids. Quinoa, millet. So don't get stuck to two kind of grains, like white rice and wheat only. And most of us, we emphasis on these two grains. But there are so many other grains which we can consume in our daily life and be healthier. Avoid all the sweeteners, sugars in any form except for the 2 teaspoons of honey. And if you have somebody offer you a chocolate, try to get dark chocolate. It has a less sugar in it. And instead of grabbing on the whole bar of sugar, just consume small piece of it and savor it, enjoy it, consume it slowly, love it rather than eating it very fast. Then you want another piece of candy or chocolate. So these are simple things which you can do to help. And again, these are aspartame and all those neotame and saccharin and sucralose, all those truvia and all those stevia kind of preparations are not the best even, because the body is creating the same reaction it creates with the sugar. So the law of living is simple here, by the way. So you look at what is available in the mother nature as the true sugar, and that's the only honey. And if you have to use the sugar outside that one, limit to 2 teaspoons a day. So most of the, if you put 1 teaspoon of sugar in a cup of your coffee or tea, that should suffice it. And, as I said, I'm a Punjabi, and Punjabis love sugar. So I've seen many people, they will not put the sugar in their drinks, but they will take a full laddu or burfi or a big piece of chocolate or cake and thinking that has a less sugar. And that may have around 10 to 15 or 20 teaspoons of sugar. So you're not doing good benefit for it. So substitute your sugars for fruit, nuts, and seeds. Nuts and seeds are a very wonderful way of, nourishing your system, and also cut down the craving on your sugar. Because when you eat fat, your cravings cut down. When you add protein, your craving for sugar cut down. And the problem with today's the way we eat is we add too much white flour, white sugar. It actually put you into a craving and addiction cycle. And you go on using again and again because you get addicted to that one. So if you cut down those white flours, white rice, and bleached flours and bleached grains, and add the whole grains and put nuts and seeds and add oils, your craving will die down. So I think we are coming to a closing end here. Have a wonderful, happy holidays. Enjoy your Christmas this evening. And next week, I will be talking to you on 31st of December, which is just before the New Year. And so on that day, we are going to talk about the New Year resolution. And a lot of people make new resolutions and they don't stick to it. But I like to, give you small suggestions how you can stick to your New Year resolutions. And so listen to my program next week. Until then, have happy holidays and Merry Christmas to all of you.